हरि ओम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। Hari Om, Suswagatam. Welcome to the Ola Samskrita Sahitya, and we are reading Mahakavi Bhasa's Urubhangam. The Gada Yuddha has already started, and Duryodhana, who is shikshanvitaha, very skilled in the warfare, especially an expert in Gada Yuddha, has hit so hard on Bhimasena's head that he is all bleeding all over the body. And he has fell down, he has collapsed completely like a great mountain being powdered and crushed by Vajra. Seeing that, what is the reaction of the different people who are witnessing the Gada Yuddha? So those reactions are reached to us, to the spectators and audience, by the three soldiers. And the verse is, as I said, 3 lines are recited by each soldier, one, and then all together they recite the last line, the last quarter of the shloka. So let us first read the verse number 21 we are at. Esha gadha prahara shithilīkritaṃgam nipatantam bhimasenam drishtva. Gadha prahara, very hard hitting prahara, shithilīkrita angam, all the body parts have become loosened, and nipatantam bhimasenam drishtva, and Bhimasena has collapsed, has become dharashayi, and seeing him, ekāgrāṅgulidhāritonnatamukho vyāsaḥ sthito vismitaḥ. We'll go line by line. Vyāsaḥ, vismitaḥ, sthitaḥ. Vyasa is wonderstruck, awestruck rather, not just wonder. He is awestruck. Oh, ye kya ho gaya? How come the mighty Bhima fall like this? Vyasa, vismitaḥ, sthitaḥ. And his description is given, ekāgrāṅgulidhāritonnatamukho. His mukha is unnata, raised by what? Angulidharita, resting on one of his fingers. Ekāgrāṅguli, only one finger out of the 5, one finger has supported his face, and he has raised his face looking like this. Oh, what has this happened? So, ekāgrāṅguli dhāritaha unnatamukhah, ekaya eva angulyagraya dhāritam mukham yena tādrishah dhāritamukhah vyāsaḥ vismitasthitah. He is awestruck. He never expected Bhimasena would fall like this. Dvitīyaḥ. The second soldier remarks, dainyaṃ yāti yudhiṣṭhiro'tra viduro bāṣpākulākṣaḥ sthitaḥ. There are 2 reactions he is recording. He has captured 2 of them, how they are reacting. Dainyaṃ yāti yudhiṣṭhiro'tra. Yudhiṣṭhira has become very deen, very pathetic. He never expected this to happen. So something unpredictable is happening. Something, very calamitous is happening, and Yudhiṣṭhira is not ready to accept it. So, dainyaṃ yāti yudhiṣṭhiro'tra. And Vidura's reaction also is captured. Viduraha bāṣpākulākṣaḥ sthitaḥ. He is standing there, his eyes, aksha, bāṣpākula, filled with tears. Now, Vidura, the uncle of the Kauravas and the Pandavas, especially the Pandavas, you can say. Though he happens to be the uncle and the brother of Dhritarashtra, his his love, inwardly, he always favored the Pandavas to the Kauravas. He stayed with the Kauravas because Dhritarashtra, he had vowed that he would serve the king of the Kuru kingdom. So whosoever the king was, when it was Pandu, he served Pandu. When it was Dhritarashtra, he was serving ekanishthaya with all his loyalty and fidelity towards the Kuru Samrajya. He was serving King Dhritarashtra. But Pandavas were his favorite. And therefore, seeing the fall of this mighty Bhimasena, bāṣpākulākṣaḥ sthitaḥ, bāṣpena or bāṣpaihi, bahuvachana, because abundant tears, not only one drop of tear, bāṣpena. So, bāṣpaihi ākulam akṣaḥ yasya tādrishah viduraha sthitaḥ. The third one captures the reaction of Arjuna and Krishna, the Naranarayana, so to say. spṛṣṭaṃ gāṇḍivamarjunena gaganaṃ kṛṣṇaḥ samudvīkṣate. spṛṣṭaṃ gāṇḍivamarjunena. Arjuna, in that anger, he just touches or lifts his bow, the famous bow Gaṇḍiva, in a moment, with a desire to attack Duryodhana now, when the duel is happening between the two Gadayuddhi or the warriors, the third person cannot intervene. That's the rule, But now looking at the fall of his elder brother Bhimasena, Arjuna is vyathita, and therefore he wants to help out his fallen brother, and therefore he is just, picking up his Gaṇḍiva. spṛṣṭaṃ gāṇḍivamarjunena gaganaṃ kṛṣṇaḥ samudvīkṣate. And Krishna, he is with all and he is above all. That is the nature of Krishna. So, माझा रंग वेगळा, like, guntuni guntyata sara, paya माझा मोकळा. That's what in Marathi it is said. He is with all the Pandavas, and yet he transcends all of them. He is over and above all of them. So he just looks at the sky. Gaganam samudvīkṣate. Krishna gaganam vikṣate. Some, along with, there could be mixed feelings. Sam iti ekīkaranaarthe. And ud gives you upward direction. Viksha is visheshena iksha. Sam, ud, and vi. And vi. Three upasargas are used by Bhasa here. It is not just ikshate. It is vikshate. And that visheshena, with that vaishishtya, it is udviksha, because he is looking at the gagana. And therefore he can't, look in the front. And therefore udvikshate. And Samiti Ekikarane, says Yaskacharya in his Nirukta, maybe this is a mixed feeling with which he is nurturing in his mind, and therefore he is just looking up at the sky. So different reactions of those who are witnessing. One more person is there who is witnessing the Gadayuddha, and that is Balarama, the teacher of Gadayuddha to both Bhimasena and Duryodhana. Sarve, together they say, śiṣyaprītitayā halaṃ bhramayate rāmo raṇaprekṣakaḥ. Rāmo raṇaprekṣakaḥ, there is a beautiful alliteration as well. This Rāma is Rāmo, Ramascha in that. So Bhargava Rāma, then Balarama, Bhargava Rāma, then Dasharathi Rāma and Balarama. So these are the three Rāmo, Ramascha. So this Rāma is Balarama. Haladhara Rāma, you can say. Rāmaha raṇaprekṣakaḥ. Yaha ranam prekshitum tatra agataha. One who has come there to witness the battle of Duryodhana and Bhimasena. Halaṃ bhramayate. He is hurling as if, his hala, his plow, which is his ayudha. Halaṃ bhramayate. With what feeling? There are different feelings. One is bāṣpākulākṣaḥ, one is dainyaṃ, then one is gaganaṃ samudvīkṣate, and the other is ekāgrāṅgulidhāritonnatamukho. So what is the reaction of Balarama? What are his feelings? śiṣyaprītitayā. He is very, very happy. He is like, he is feeling rewarded. Whatever he has imparted, his knowledge, So all that shiksha, he gets rewarded in the form of Duryodhana's victory, so to say, over Bhimasena. Bhimasena is made to lie down, collapse on the earth, and that means the upper side is, the winning side is at Duryodhana's paksha, and śiṣyaprītitayā. Because he loves Duryodhana so much. Duryodhana is the most favorite disciple, and therefore out of love for his best of the shishyas, with that love he is very happy, and to express his gladness, his happiness, his joy, he is merrily, happily waving his halaṃ. So very beautiful reactions captured. This also works on the, when we say that Bhasa is a person who does the psychoanalysis of his characters. It is not just a Svabhavokti. Whenever he gives Svabhavokti, it is peeping into the hearts and the minds of the characters and catching the movement, the feelings, the emotions, the workings of their emotions, workings of their mind of the characters, And therefore all these different reactions, they in a way, they give you, they prove that Bhasa is a really very good mind reader, and he has exactly captured the emotions and the fleeting feelings of each one of them. These are the different people who have gathered there to see this Bhima Duryodhanayoho Gada Yuddham, and each one reacts in a different manner, suiting his own temperament and the relations with the Kauravas and Pandavas. So, ekāgrāṅgulidhāritonnatamukho vyāsaḥ sthito vismitaḥ dainyaṃ yāti yudhiṣṭhiro'tra viduro bāṣpākulākṣaḥ sthitaḥ spṛṣṭaṃ gāṇḍivamarjunena gaganaṃ kṛṣṇaḥ samudvīkṣate śiṣyaprītitayā halaṃ bhramayate rāmo raṇaprekṣakaḥ. So beautiful Svabhavokti, but not only capturing one person's mood or one person's action, it is different people. So 5-6 people who are witnessing everybody's reactions, everybody's minute, detailed manifestation of feeling is captured here in this verse. So very good example of Svabhavokti. Then Prathamaha, again, Esha Maharajaha. Now the situation is, Duryodhana is up and erect with his gada in his hand. Bhimasena is lying down, he has collapsed. And now what will be the reaction of Duryodhana towards Bhimasena? And that again, this verse again would give you, Duryodhana's magnanimity of heart, his nobility, unlike the character of Duryodhana portrayed by Vyāsaḥ. Bhasa has done an elevation of his hero, the character of Duryodhana. So this verse reveals all the good traits, the noble traits of Duryodhana's personality as a good warrior and as a good human being, a person who follows all the terms, the rules and regulations of warfare. Esha Maharajaha, Vīryālayo. The very first word, Vīryālayo, Vīryasya Alayaha, like Makaralayaha, Vīryālayo, Vidyālayo, Granthālaya, Alaya, a very big storehouse of bravery. Viryālayo, vividharatnavicitramaulir, yukto'bhimānavinayadyutisāhasaiśca, vākyaṃ vadatyupahasanna tubhīmadīnam, Viro nihanti samareshu bhayam tyajeti. The last two lines are very like pithy sentences. Duryodhana is addressing the great mighty warrior who has fallen on the ground, Bhima. He is addressing Bhima. Dīnam vīraha na nihanti. Dīnam, a person who has become like Dīna, like this, who is incapable even to lift his gada, his ayudha, who has been rendered to such a pitiable condition that he can't even wake up and get up and collect his ayudha. Vīraha nihanti samareshu. Real warrior, a real, what you can say, a soldier, a king, would never hit at a person who has fallen on the ground. Dīnam vīraha na nihanti samareshu bhayam tyaja iti. And therefore, you please get over the feeling of fear, if at all you are fearing that when you are fallen and when you are unable to lift your ayudha, I might hit you back and kill you. If you are entertaining such a fear, please don't entertain any such fear, And this vākyaṃ vadan, he is telling this vakya, upahasan, mockingly smiling at him, mocking at him. It is a sarcastic smile though, right? Oh, you have, I have given this dharashayitva to you, but I am not the person who would kill you when you are helplessly lying here on the ground. Upahasan iva nata na bhima dīnam vīraha nihanti samareshu. So vīraha na nihanti samareshu dīnam. And therefore, hey Bhima, bhayam tyaja. So don't be afraid that I will kill you now in this particular situation. The first two lines, of course, Viryālayo we discussed. He is the storehouse of Virya, the valor. Vividharatnavicitramaulir yukto'bhimānavinayadyutisāhasaiśca. His mauli, his mukuta. His mauli, his mukuta is vividharatnavicitra. He is, smiling at him, and when he is shaking his head and smiling, the vividharatna, the ratna studded in the mukuta, they also emitting light, and the rays of light might be falling. I mean, you can just imagine that. Basically, the description is he is having a crown, a diadem, which is embedded with lots of precious jewels and gems. Vividharatna vichitra maulihi. Yukto'bhimāna, he is yukta, equipped with, possessing what? Abhimāna, vinaya, dyutisāhasa. 4 qualities of Duryodhana are enumerated here. There are many more, but these are the 4 which really befit a fighter, a soldier. He is Abhimāna, he is Abhimani, he is Kulābhimani, he is Viryābhimani. The Abhimāna, the pride could be of his Kuruvamsha, pride could be of his own valor, pride could be of being the best and the favorite shishya of Balarama, pride could be of a person who made such mighty warrior fall down. So pride, numerous ways to interpret what sort of pride he was possessing. But Abhimana is there. That Abhimana, when it transgresses its limits, it crosses the limits, it becomes Darpa. Basically, Abhimana has to be there. But then, if it crosses the boundaries, it becomes Darpa, arrogance. So, Yuktaha, Abhimana, Vinaya. Vinaya has 2 meanings in Sanskrit. We already, I think we have discussed it once. Vidya vinayena shobhate. When this is a very famous Subhashita's line, last line of Subhashita. Vidya vinayena shobhate. That vinaya is humility, humbleness. Okay? Vinaya, namrata. Natasya bhavaha. that is one meaning. And Vinaya, V plus Ni, is Visheshena Niyate. By Guruna, Shishya, Visheshena Niyate, dainyaṃ prati. So this is a type of training or education. And therefore a guru is called Vinetru, that is Vineta, one who leads the Shishya to a definite goal, So Vinaya has these two meanings. He is equipped with, or he possesses Vinaya, humility. Of course, you can't expect humility in the case of his opponents, but with others, especially with Karna, his friend Shishupal and others, he must have been a very good friend of them, right? So, Vinaya, humility, and Vinaya, training, because Shikshanvitaha Duryodhanaha. Dyuti, because of these qualities, he is shining. Dyuti is shining, glowing. And Sahasa. Sahasa is adventurous spirit. I want to prove myself, my own credentials, and I can go to any extent to prove myself. So that's Sahasa, that adventurous spirit, that sort of, atishayitatvam vīrataya, viryasya. So that is Sahasa. So Yuktaha, so he is possessing the qualities of all these things. Or you may say that Sahasa, Abhimana and Vinaya, these are the three virtues which have rendered that glow on his personality. He is Dyutiman because of Sahasa, because of Vinaya, and because of his Abhimana. So that is why he is glowing. That is why he is shining. So different ways of interpreting the same sentence. That is what you can say the speciality of the Sanskrit poetry. You can interpret the way you like. You can twist, the words to mean what you really intend to convey. So, vīryālayo vividharatnavicitramaulir yukto'bhimānavinayadyutisāhasaiśca vākyaṃ vadatyupahasanna natu bhīmadīnam vīrā nihanti samareshu bhayam tyajeti. Bhayam tyaja, discard your bhaya. And so nishankaha bhutva punarapi yuddhaya pravritto bhava ityarthaha. The commentators would comment on this. He is as if assuring Bhimasena, being fearless, without doubting any ill move from my side. Nishankaha bhutva. Don't entertain even an iota of doubt that I will kill you in this helpless situation of yours. So, nishanko bhutva punarapi yuddhaya pravritto bhava. I want to kill you in a straight fight and I don't want to cheat you. These are all the suggested meanings. This is all the Vyanjana. When you see later on how Bhimasena really struck hard and shattered his both the thighs, that was unlawful, that was a violation of the rules of Gada Yuddha. On that background, this particular statement of Duryodhana is very, very apt, very, very suggestive, and that elevates him. And later, when he is smashed and his thighs are broken, all our sympathy, the sympathy of the readers and the spectators, go for Duryodhana. So these are all the Vyanjanas. Vyanjana, I always say that this is not expressed by the poet in a very clear-cut terms, It is not the explicitly expressed meaning. It is not even an implied meaning. It is the suggested meaning. This is how one can read between the lines. And this reading between the lines is possible when you have the entire scenario in front of you. If you know the story part of Mahabharata, then this really matters much more. And that helps the character building of Duryodhana as a great hero who was a villainous character, who is a villainous character throughout the Mahabharata, how Bhasa could achieve making him, turning him, transforming him into a hero. These are the smaller traits of his personality which get revealed in this manner. So, vīryālayo vividharatnavicitramaulir, bhayam tyaja, so nishanko bhutva punarapi yuddhāya pravritto bhava ityarthaha. Then, Esha idanim, the another soldier just sees that Eshaha idanim upahasyamanam bhimasenam drishtva svam urum abhihatya kamapi saudnyam prayachati janardanaha. Here I can see, these are the three soldiers who are narrating to us the aankho dekha hal. They are witnessing the Gada Yuddha, because Gada Yuddha is not played in front of us, it is played behind the screen, because such things should not be shown, on the stage. And therefore they are describing, they are the ones who are reporting to us every detail what's happening on the battlefield. So he just notices this Janardana, kahamapi saudnyam prayachati. He is signaling. He is sending some signal, He is signaling Bhimasena, kamapi saudnyam prayachati, Bhimasenam drishtva, looking at Bhimasena. How is this Bhimasena? Upahasyamanam, who is being mocked at sarcastically by Duryodhana. Idanim upahasyamanam Bhimasenam drishtva, Krishna's love and his favoritism towards Pandavas is not hidden. I mean, it's so very well revealed throughout, So it is not a suggested thing. It is expressed by him multiple times. So Bhimasenam drishtva, he is really worried, and therefore he is signaling him. And how? What is the signal? Svam urum abhihatya. He is just patting his own thigh. He is striking his own thigh. So, hit at the thigh, that is the signal given to Bhimasena. Here is again a deviation, because this deviation is required in the view of Duryodhana's verse later on, that it is not Bhima who killed me, it was Krishna's trick which caused my death, because he is very well aware Bhimasena would not even think of this. It is Krishna who signaled him. So it is his guess, but in the Mahabharata originally, Krishna signals to Arjuna and Arjuna gives that sign to Bhimasena. Krishna just looks at Arjuna and pointing his thigh, he won't even strike it with his hand. Bas nazar hi kafi hai, He will just indicate at the thigh, at the lower portion of the vest through his eyes, and it is Arjuna who signals Bhimasena to hit Duryodhana on his thigh. But here, Krishna does that. Because Krishna is to be blamed by Duryodhana later on, right? So, Bhimasenam drishtva svam urum abhihatya kamapi saudnyam prayachati janardanaha. Maybe the epithet Janardana used here could also be very significant. Janan ardayati iti janardanaha. And ardayati, these janas are dushta jana. So, one who gets rid of the evil people, the bad people, the wicked people, the adharmika people, and therefore perhaps Janardana could have been used. We don't know. I mean, many times, we just assign so many things to the author. Author perhaps would not have intended all these things. In our hurry and in our enthusiasm to attach, and in our enthusiasm to read between every word and every word in detail, we might go to any extent. Perhaps author didn't even intended it, and he just used one of the epithets of Krishna, Janardana. Might be so. Tṛtīyaḥ, esha saudnyaya samashvasitaha marutihi. Marutihi, Vayuputraha, Bhimasena is Marutputraha, Vayuputraha, like Maruti, Hanuman, and therefore Eshaha Marutihi Samashvasitaha, he is reassured. Ashvasana is assure. A plus shvasa, shvasa, that is giving breath again. So one who is not breathing, you impart breathing to him, you assure him, you reliven the person, revive the person, right? That is samashvasana. Basically from the root, basic root is shvasa, to breathe. So Esha, Saudnyaya, he catches that signal, He is not unaware of that signal, Bhimasena. He captures that signal and gets assured again. He gets rejuvenated, so to say, and wakes up. He bounces up to the ground. He is lying on the ground. Now he bounces up, emerges, raises himself up with new vigor and is ready to fight Duryodhana. Samhritya bhrukutir lalata vivare svedam karenakshipan bahubhyam parigriha bhima vadanaha chitrangadam swam gadam putram dīnamudiksha sarvagatina labdhveva dattam balam garjan simha vrushe kṣṇaḥ kṣititalad bhūyas samuttiṣṭhati. Marutihi samashvasitaha kṣititalat samuttiṣṭhati. He wakes up, he rises himself up from the surface of the ground. Kṣititala, surface of the ground. Bhūyaha, again. He was lying there as if half dead, but now with this signal, Bhūyaha punarekavaram samuttiṣṭhati. And such a beautiful, beautiful description of Bhimasena. All the minute details, how he gathered up his courage. Like gird up your loins and bring back to your own vigor, So how he could achieve all that. Minutest details have been captured by Bhasa in this beautiful verse. So, Samhritya bhrukutihi, he just twists his eyebrows like akuncha. Sam plus ru is to contract. When a person is thinking something, when he is angry, he will contract his eyebrows. When he is wonderstruck, he will expand his eyebrows. So this is again, the smallest detail, but then samhritya bhrukutihi, like thinking with anger, samhritya, he is contracting his eyebrows. Lalata vivare svedam, in the lalata, and there are trirekha, trivali, etc. So in that sveda, perspiration, sweat has gathered, karena akshipan, he is wiping out that sweat from his lalata, from his forehead. He is so shranta ujjitaha, something like that. He is very shranta, he is tired, he is bleeding all over, and therefore he is lying on the earth. So that sveda, because of exhaustion, shrama, there is sveda gathered, perspiration, the drops of perspiration, the drops of sweat, he is wiping with his hand. He has contracted his eyebrows, he has wiped out his forehead, and then bahubhyam parigriha swam gadam, with both the arms, not one, both the arms he gathered courage to lift swam gadam. And what is the name of his gada? Chitrangada. I don't know whether Vyasa has referred to the name Chitrangada. We have nonetheless the names of the Shankhas given in the Mahabharata. Panchajanyam Rishikesho, Devadattam Dhananjayaha, Poundram Dadmau Mahashankam. But I don't know, I haven't read, maybe I haven't read all that. But then I haven't come across the name Chitrangada. Perhaps it is mentioned by Vyasa, or perhaps it is Bhasa's creation. But it nonetheless matches and alliterates with Chitrangada Gada. चित्रां गदां स्वां गदां parigriha bhīmavadanaha. How is he? His face, bhima, bhayankara, ferocious, fearful, terrifying. Any moment, what will happen the next, nobody can foretell. That sort of bhayanaka face he is making, that this is my last blow on you and you will not be living even for a second after that, that sort of bhayankaratva, terrifying attitude, countenance he holds. Okay, so bahubhyam parigriha bhīmavadanaha bhīmaha bahubhyam swam chitrāṅgadāṃ gadāṃ parigriha. So many actions, and therefore before kshititalat samuttishthati, the finite verb, all the secondary actions, the purva kala vachika dhatu sadhita avyayas have been used. These are the tvantas and labantas basically. Samvritya, karena akshipan is a shatrushanach. Parigriha, bahubhyam parigriha, another labanta. And then putram dīnamudīkṣya sarvagatina labdhveva dattam balam. This is a very interesting line, I should say. And you refer to the first line, esha saudnyaya samashvasito marutihi. Marutihi, the marutputraha, vayuputraha. And therefore somewhere the reference of vayu has to come in the verse later, and that comes here in the third line. And what is the word for vayu here? Do you see vayu anywhere here? No vayu, no marut. The word given, the word used by bhasa is sarvagatina. Sarvatra gatihi yasya saha sarvagatihi. One who can blow anywhere, one who can go travel anywhere in the world, So nothing can obstruct him, nothing can hinder his passage, his way, his path, and therefore sarvagati is vayu. Vayu can blow anywhere. So sarvagati is a very peculiar word, very rarely used in poetry and such, but here after referring to Maruti, using another name for vayu is very, very clever on part of bhasa. So sarvagatina dattam balam labdhva iva, as if, iva here is utprekṣārthe, as if that vayu, his father, Bhimasena's father, has given him a vigor, given him some bala. Sarvagatina dattam balam labdhva iva. Now why Sarvagati vayu should give him extra vigor? Putram dīnamudīkṣya. He saw his son lying helpless on the earth, and therefore vayu could not tolerate that helplessness of his own son, and therefore he as if woke him up from that slumber, from that tandra, from that helpless situation, and make him rise up. Now again, vayu is giving him bala, maybe just a gust of wind just blew at that time, which invigorated Bhimasena, which helped him wipe out his sweat, ek varyachi झुळुक, little gust of wind, and then you get refreshed all over. So this work has been achieved by vayu by providing only the minimum help. He is not making Bhimasena valorous again. He knows his putras, his son's valor. He just helps him at the right moment to blow for a minute, so that he gets refreshed and wakes up and gets up from his supine position. He just wakes up and stands in an erect position. Okay. Putram dīnamudīkṣya, another labanta, but this udīkṣya, this ikṣana is by vayu, not by Bhimasena. All other kriyas are done by Bhimasena. Here this kriya is done by Vayu. So as if after seeing his son lying in a helpless condition, Vayu, wind, gave him a new strength, acquiring that labdhva dattam balam sarvagatina. Garjan, loud war cry he is making, battle cry he is making. Garjan, simha vrusha ikshanaha. And another very important and very significant, I should say, not important, significant epithet used for Bhimasena, simha vrusha ikshanaha. Having the eyes, ikshanaha, lochanaha. Ikshanaha is nayanaha, lochanaha. Lochana like what? Simha vrusha. Simha among the vrusha. Vrusha is a bull. Simha is the best of the bull. So the best of the bull's reddened eyes, like that, he is having red eyes. So simha vrushasya. It could mean, the commentators have said, it could mean mrigendrasya nayane iva, yasya nayane. Simha vrusha is simheshu vrushaha. So the king of the what you can say, animals, that is the lion, but he is the best of the lion. Like, vrusha, this particular vrusha or vrishabha is used to connote the best amongst the species. Like we say Rajarishabha, the best of the kings. Nararishabha, the best amongst the men. And therefore Simharishabha, the best among the lions. Okay? And tasya ikshane iva, tasya lochane iva, lochane yasya tadrishaha bhimaha kshititalat bhuyaha samuttisthati. Beautiful example of Svabhavokti. Let me read it once again so that you can gather all the minute details, all his physical actions which he is doing here, one after the other, and that really befits a warrior who is invigorated again to fight. Samhritya bhrikutihi lalata vivare svedam karenakshipan bahubhyam parigriha bhima vadanaha chitrangadam swam gadam putram dīnamudiksha sarvagatina labdhveva dattam balam garjan simha vrushekshaнаha kshititalat bhuyas samuttisthati. Now these soldiers, they were hoping that, the Gada Yuddha got over because Bhimasena is lying on the ground and one blow and he will be dead. Then the Prathamaha says, Hanta punah pravrittam Gada Yuddham. Oh, I thought the Gada Yuddha got over, but no. Punaha pravrittam Gada Yuddham. The war started again. The mace fight, the club fight started again. Anena hi. What did Bhimasena do? The next verse gives you all that description. Bhumau panitale nigrishya tarasa bahu pramrujjadhikam sandashta oshtaputena vikramabalat krodhadhikam garjata tyaktva gharma ghrnam vihaya samayam त्यक्त्वा धर्मघृणां विहाय समयं कृष्णस्य संज्ञासमं गान्धारीतनयस्य पाण्डुतनयेन उर्वोर्विमुक्ता गदा. पाण्डुतनयेन गान्धारीतनयस्य उर्वोः गदा विमुक्ता. The main sentence in the last line. By Pandutanaya, that is Bhimasena here, the Madhyama Pandava, by Bhima, Gada Mukta, the club, the mace, was released, hurled, hit. On whom? Gandhari Tanayasya Uruvoho, on the thighs of Gandhari's son. गान्धारीतनयस्य उर्वोः पाण्डुतनयेन गदा mukta. He hurled the gada at the thighs. Now that was something against the rules, dharma yuddha of gada yuddha, the dharma of the gada yuddha, and therefore tyaktva dharma granam vihaya, tyaktva dharma granam and vihaya samayam krishnasya saudnya samam. He has captured the saudnya, the signal of Krishna, and deviating, disregarding the rules and regulations, the code of conduct, you may say. Dharma is the way of behavior. So while in the battlefield, you have to abide by certain laws, certain rules and regulations. So leaving aside that, he has hit Duryodhana on his thighs. Before doing that, he had just woke up from that helpless condition. So for invigorating himself, for reviving and gathering his courage and valor, he has to do some physical activity that is also minutely, graphically captured by Bhasa. How? Bhumau panitale nigrishya tarasa. Tarasa with speed, hastily. Hastily, what did he do? His hands are also bloody. Bloody means bleeding, not bloody as a slang word. So his hands are also bleeding because his whole body is drenched with blood. Plus he is sweating profusely, perspiring profusely. Perhaps that gada would slip from his hand. And therefore, as the wrestlers do, like they just rub their palms on the sand and then rub the palms together. Similarly, Panitale nigrishya tarasa bhumau. Both his palms, he just rubbed against the harsh ground. Okay? Tarasa, hastily with all his speed and vigor. And bahu pramrujya, just wipe out the sweat from his bahu so that he will be able to lift that heavy gada, bhima gada, chitrangada. And sandashta osthaputena, he is biting his lip with anger. When you are very angry, you bite your lips and then attack the opponent. So biting his lip, sandashta osthaputena vikramabalat krodhadhikam garjata, and with renewed, what you can say, vigor which he has acquired, garjata, he is crying. It is not crying, lamenting, war crying, garjata. He is yelling loudly, roaring loudly, garjana, roaring loudly with krodha, adhikam krodha, not just krodha, krodhadhikam, adhikam krodha. And with that, krodhadhikam is used as an adverb here. So krodhadhikam garjata, with what piled up wrath and anger. He is very furious because such a mighty warrior like himself, and he was made to lie down on the earth like a powdered and crushed mountain. He could not, that was the greatest of insults he ever had. And therefore, krodhadhikam garjata, tyaktva dharma granam vihaya samayam krishnasya saudnya samam. And following exactly the saudnya, the signal of Lord Krishna, Gandhari tanayasya pandutanayena urvoho vimukta gada. So he hurled his gada at both the thighs, with both hands he crushed both the thighs of Duryodhana. Hadik patito maharajaha. Again, this was a good example of Swabhavokti, because how he is doing, how he is gathering up himself, to fight back. Hadik patito maharajaha. Esha rudhira patana dyotitangam nipatantam kururajam drishtva kham utpatito bhagavan dvaipayanaha. We just now saw the reactions of all these people when Bhimasena Bhimasena collapsed and fell on the ground. Now this Duryodhana has fallen down, and what is the reaction of all the people? Same thing now. Similarly, all the reactions of the different people who are witnessing will be given here. Esha Rudhira Patana Dyotitangam. Rudhira Patana Dyotitangam. Because of the fall and because of the blood coming out from his thighs, Dyotitangam, his entire body is like glistening. Nipatantam kururajam drishtva. Such a shining body, with that shining body, because Rudhira is red in color. When it shines, it will give you that golden color, golden appearance, and therefore Nipatantam kururajam drishtva. When Duryodhana is falling like this, kham utpatitaha bhagavan dvaipayanaha. Bhagavan Dvaipayana just flew up in the sky. Verse 25 gives you the reaction of Balarama. Balarama, whose favorite disciple, deceitfully is shattered like this. What is his reaction? Mala samvrita lochanena halina netroparodha kritaha. Mala samvrita lochanena halina. Halaṃ asya asti iti. Hala is his weapon, and therefore halin or haladhara means Balarama. So halina netroparodha kritaha. He closed his eyes. With what? Mala samvrita lochanena. He, like disapproving the whole thing. He was shaking his head vigorously, and the mala which he is wearing is tossed about. And because that tossing of the mala, his eyes are already closed. Malaya samvrute lochane yasya tena halina netroparodha kritaha. I don't want to see this anymore. As it is, his eye was being covered by his mala. Now here, instead of malaya, there are two pathabhedas. One pathabheda is helaya. Hela is avadnya, disrespect and disregard. So that was a disregard not only to the shastra of Yuddha Shastra, Gada Yuddha, but the teacher who is standing in front. How can he deviate from the rules and regulation when the teacher is witnessing the whole thing? So that was avadnya of Shastra as well as Shastrakara and the Guru. And Guru avadnya is the greatest of the crimes. So, helaya, mala samvrita or hela samvrita lochanena or maya samvrita lochanena. In some manuscript it is seen as maya samvrita. Because of maya, because of this chala, because of this deceit which is going on, he just closed his eyes. Oh, no more, I don't want to see it. So these are the 2-3 pathabhedas, okay? Mala samvrita lochanena halina netroparodha kritaha drishtva krodha nimilitam haladharam duryodhanapekṣaya Sambhrantaih kara panjarantharagato dvaipayana jñāpito bhīmaha krishna bhujavalambita gatir nirvaihate pandavaihi. Again a beautiful Svabhavokti alankara here. Now Duryodhana has fallen and Balarama is angry, obviously very angry at the fall of his favorite Shishya. He is more angry because this is a disregard to him and the Yuddha Shastra. So what might be his next step? What Balarama would do? He is capable of doing anything. And therefore, with his partiality or favoritism to Duryodhana apekṣaya drishtva krodha nimilitam haladharam. He is openly siding Duryodhana, everybody knows. And when he has closed his eyes like this, Krodhena nimilite akshini yena saha tam haladharam drishtva Dvaipayana jnapitaha. Dvaipayana, who just flew up in the sky, jate jate signal deke gaye. And what was that signal? Dvaipayana just signaled that Bhimasena should be carried out, He should not stand in front of Balarama, otherwise next moment he will not be live. He will be dead. He will be dead because of the wrath of furious Haladhara. And therefore, Dvaipayana jnapitaha and Krishna bhujavalambita gatihi. And Bhimasena, after fighting, after giving that blow, he himself is so exhausted, right? And therefore, Krishna bhujam avalambitaha. He is taking support of Krishna's hand, and Satya Bhimasena Pandavaihi nirvaihate. He is being carried away. Nirvaihate, prayojaka. He is not going on his own. He is being taken. He is being dragged by all the Pandavas. How? Kara panjarantaragataha. By, like the players do huddling. They hold each other's hands or shoulders and do huddle. We have seen it on the cricket ground, football ground and all that. Now this huddle is to protect Bhimasena and not to express their joy at something. They are more worried than being joyous at the fall of Duryodhana. Right? This is a moment now they should be very happy because the last of the Kauravas is dead and the war is almost over now. But more than joy, fear captures them. And Dvaipayana signals Bhimasena is held by Krishna. He is supported by Krishna's hand, and all other Pandavas, Sambhrantaihi, they are confused. They don't know what to do, what next. And therefore Krishna is their whole support. And therefore Dvaipayana has signaled, Krishna has supported, and all these confused, startled and frightened Pandavas, they have made as if a cage with their hands, and Bhimasena putting inside, supported by Krishna's hand, he is being carried away from the battlefield. What a beautiful verse. Karapanjaragataha. You can visualize. This is what you can say Svabhavokti. When you say Svabhavokti, it is not just Padarthanam Nanavastham Rupam Vivrunvati, as Dandi says. This enables us to create that picture in front of our mental eyes. That is the pen picture. There lies the quality of the Mahakavis. Not everybody can have that much skill, to portray such picturesque details, the photographic details of this happening. And so everything we can visualize. You close your eyes, how Duryodhana make Bhimasena fall down, how Bhimasena was revived, how he gathered his courage, picked up. All this in slow motion like a video can happen in front of our eyes, and at last the climax scene comes when Duryodhana is shattered. And Duryodhana's thighs are shattered. We'll see next time why only thighs and what was the significance behind Krishna signaling hit him at his thigh. Of course, you all know the story, but then just for, punah pratyaya, we shall do it again. Hari Om.